throw it back. Don't you see?
You can. You can.
Oh, it's a rätsel.
One cloud.
How is that?
You have 2 clouds, 1 cloud.
3
clouds.
One cloud.
One cloud, 3 cloud. 2 cloud.
2 clouds, 4 clouds.
Clown.
One cloud.
Hello, Fletcher.
Clouds is
Okay.
Without your face.
Sometimes, yeah. Happen.
Your neighbors the first time. Summer is. How do you start? Spring, summer, autumn, autumn, winter.
3 is the sea.
Spring, summer, autumn, winter.
There's no more time to save my
Frühling, Sommer, Herbst und Winter. Sommer, Herbst,
Frühling,
Winter.
Sommer, Herbst.
And the rain finally secret into the Arctic.
Non. The night is full.
The neighbor walking his dog.
There are not.
Through my window.
No, the night.
Very nice.
I was your favorite place.
On the edge of my window.
You look.
Wine cloud.
We need to answer this one now. This is a good question. I answered it. Can I use it?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm the cloud.
What do we do with that? I wrote answer to it.
Very sexy.
No, I wrote answer that she can read.
Do you think it's something about the weather or not?
I don't know. It's no time also.
Do you want to follow me? Huh? Please come with me.
But I also want to help.
You are going to help. Yes. Please just follow me. I was being brought here by my parents.
Brought you?
I brought, like they bring me here by the parents. No? So when I was still small, I didn't have a lot of roots, so to say. However, but my parents, they had the roots in the Soviet Union, and they were being so exhausting. They were in the Soviet Union, but in the time when the Soviet Union broke down, somehow everything was somehow changing in this moment. No, just follow me. And just come inside. Yes. And everything was changing in this moment, so I got deported all of a sudden, or the family got deported. And we found each other in this black box that was very dark. And we didn't know where they're gonna bring us, no? So first it was trucks, because we heard by the sound. And then after some while, we were put into trains. And then the train, it drove for hours and for hours and for hours, and I really got thirsty. I was almost about to die, and my kind, you know, if you don't get water, you're probably gonna die, you know. So it was really a strong experience, so to say. But however, it wasn't as bad as it sounds now, because we arrived then in Prili-Malais, in the station there, and in this station we arrived. And back in the days there, it was actually nothing, it was just a station, and it was the industrial area. And so very beautiful was, because exactly this building wasn't standing here back in the time, but when you were standing here at this edge of the hill, so to say, you would see the industrial area, and in the background you see the mountains. And all of a sudden, the metal construction of all of the cranes and the metal things and the train things, you know what I mean? It looked like they were holding up the mountains, so to say, as if there were the stands for the mountain. It was very beautiful. However, my father then found a job here in a little park, where he got to be a home for birds and animals and you know, this kind of thing. So he did this for quite some years actually, and after that, my mother, she went to like a big street. You know, there's this big street going to Renault. So she found a community there. That's yes, towards Renault, and that's where she planted herself. You know. So she got to be part of this community, and I don't have a lot of contact to my mother back then. And also my father, unfortunately, the park where he was living, it got destroyed. So they destroyed because they were building a huge, like some other building wanted to live there, and that is why they started destroying the park, and also they eventually killed my father. So that's very sad, because then you realize, like, yeah, it's you're never stronger. The location is always stronger than you are. No, yeah. So, however,
He was sitting in his house. Father.
no, he was in the park. Like, he was the home of the birds and the animals and all of these things. You know, so that is why he got killed. So it's very sad. So the location is stronger than you are. Like you're never, if something is in change, like either you go with the change or the change is gonna kill you. Like you cannot stop it. You know, this is like the principle. However, my parents told me, you know, in the relation also to work and stuff like that, and their socialist working attitude, so to say, they stopped believing in work because it didn't work out. So they told me work sucks. You know, that was the principle what they did to me. But still, I wanted to be a rebellion too towards my parents. No, so I said, but I am going to work and I'm gonna become huge and big with strong roots, you know. That was what I was thinking. So I found a job in Coop. And in Coop it was cool, but they gave me a little square, so I had a bit of the chance to acclimatize to the situation and the environment. I could spread some roots, but still I was very limited in my space. I couldn't really become big. So that's why I'm as small as I am, however. But I am a strong believer, so to say, you know, because where I was working next to it, they had a church. And the church, like a lot of people go in and out of the church, and I was fascinated by it. But over the time, I don't know, this stopped somehow. People do not go in there anymore. But what I then saw, like that, my father, for example, all of a sudden, people would come to my father and they would hug him. They would like bring him flowers or put some candles on the ground and stuff like that. They would even ask him weird questions and would say like, can you help me with this? Can you do that? And stuff like that. So that is really what happened. It was fascinating. They were almost treating him like a god. No? So I thought like maybe I want to become something like that too. But I was still in Coop with my little square, not being able to actually become big roots, you know? So, but I was hoping and believing and everything. So at some point, eventually, this guy came by and he took me with, you know? And he took me and it was amazing because he brought me here into this building.
This guy?
Yes. And he made me live right here at this window.
Ah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And you hear it? That was the music he was playing all the time. He had a really good music taste somehow.
Unforgettable.
Hey Mom, Dad, I guess I'd just say thank you. I mean for real, thank you. You've done everything for me. You've been the best parents that a child could wish for, you know. You really let me live free. You said, do whatever you want, and no matter what happens, never care about what other people think. So I did what you said. I never cared. Remember when suddenly I had bad grades in school? They told me that I should go to university, that they thought I was really smart, that I had a chance to really achieve something. So I started to be bad at school, on purpose. I was drawing circles and squares in algebra, and in geometry I differentiated the theory of relativity. In French lessons I spoke German, and in the English lessons I spoke Italian. Because I thought it was fun. But when I suddenly started to take singing lessons, you remember that? When Kurt Cobain died, everybody was listening to Nirvana, so I started listening to Celine Dion. One time I was walking through the corridor of the school, singing Believe, you know. Some classmates heard it and they made fun of me. That shit was horrible, man. Like a turtle of the Galapagos Islands having sex. What the fuck? It's like a cat crawling up the street, crawling on the street crying because he was hit by a big delivery truck from Negro. That's why I took singing lessons and applied for Deutschland sucht den Superstar. Everybody hated that show. And when I won, Dieter Bohlen said I would be the next Michael Jackson or even the next Dieter Bohlen. So I quit. And everybody around me was confused. Why did you quit? You're going to end up in a shitty working for Coco, for Migros, or even for Aldi. So I sold drugs. Yeah, Mom. You heard right, I sold drugs to finance my adult education to study architecture because people were complaining about my orientation, my sense of orientation. Later, Herzog and de Meuron wanted me to help designing the Olympic Stadium in Beijing, but I said no. You didn't know that, huh? I said no to Herzog and de Meuron. Instead, I started to work on a project to reevaluate some shitty industrial area nearby Lausanne. Everybody thought it was absolutely an amazing piece of architecture, so I had to quit again. And see, this is how my life was the whole time. Everybody was making fun of vegetarians, so I went vegan. When everybody wanted to be vegan, I started to eat meat at the La Boucherie every day. I was a feminist, but after the Me Too movement, I stood up for men's right, you know? When smart people started to use smartphones, I still used an old Nokia, and when it got cool to not use a smartphone, I bought one. Facebook is dead, they say, so I created an account. Don't buy this shit all over house, they said, but I fucking bought the place. I even thought there was ugly plants that nobody wanted to buy. And I participated in right-wing neo-Nazi groups. Everybody hated them. And when the neo-Nazis were complaining about other religions, I became a Buddhist. I became a Nazi Buddhist. So I went to Dharamsala to meet the Dalai Lama. I saw him in the streets. He was passing by with his entourage. And then suddenly he stopped. He turned around and looked me straight in the eye. It was magical. Everything went quiet. Then he said, "You never see a person who cares so much about other people." And then he disappeared. So I'm here right now, recording my goodbye note. With you, Mom, and Dad, and I don't know where you are. But I guess we'll see each other.